The story I present this evening is called To Melt the Hardest Heart. I live in Sylmar. I live at the confluence of the mighty 118 and the majestic 210. It's not a crap neighborhood. We think of it as crap neighborhood adjacent. And in 2015, I was sharing that wonderful townhouse apartment with two dogs, Sir Corwin, the beautiful dog-faced dog, brindled beast of Sylmar, and the somewhat younger Lord Buckley, Sweet Lips, greatest of all Danemuts, the dinosaur slaying dog. His theme song is part of his name. And my lovely, lovely wife, whose name escapes me at the moment. Because we live in a townhouse apartment, we walk the dogs beyond the confines of the townhouse complex where our neighbors have actual houses with actual lawns. Because I am a nice guy, I clean up after them when they relieve themselves. My dogs, not my neighbors. Not that nice a guy. And both dogs had a favorite lawn. Just down the street from us off Foothill Boulevard onto Bledsoe, there was a poopy lawn. Oh, I just figured out why it was called that. One morning, as I was drinking coffee, had finished first writing session for the day and was about to get dressed to go to a meeting, my younger dog, Lord Buckley, Sweet Lips, greatest of all Danemuts, the dinosaur slaying dog, told me that he would like a walk, so I put him on his leash, and he led me directly to his favorite lawn. Unbeknownst to me, the property behind that lawn had recently changed hands. So the new owner of the house saw me on the lawn with the dog, came out through his front door, and said, "That's my lawn." I do not play the passive-aggressive guess my intent game. Moreover, my dogs had loved that lawn far longer than he had owned the house. So we felt a sense of entitlement. We have squatters' rights. Rather than engaging him in a direct argument, I said, "That's my dog." He repeated, "That's my lawn." I repeated, "That's my dog." He stepped toward me, getting louder and angrier, and said, "That's my lawn." Now, I considered restating ownership of the dog, but I was beginning to fear that he would think there was actually something wrong with me. So I took a different tack. And for the record, tack is the correct word here. It's an idiomatic use of a sailing term. It refers to an ability to navigate in such a way as to use your sail to travel in directions not parallel to the prevailing wind. My point is, if you have been saying take a different tact, people like me have been judging you harshly. In any case, I went a different way. I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak English." He said, "You've got to be kidding me." I said, "No. I'm absolutely serious. I don't speak any English at all." He said, "We're speaking English right now." I said, "I realize this can be confusing. I've learned several words and phrases phonetically. I'm told I have a pretty good ear for accents. The result is the ability to create an illusion of fluency, conversationalism even. But the fact of the matter is, I have no idea what either of us has been saying throughout this entire exchange. While I offered up this little diatribe, Lord Buckley Sweetlips, greatest of all Danemachts, the dinosaur-slaying dog, hunched up like a tiny kangaroo and relieved himself on the man's lawn. I collected the excrement in a plastic bag because I try to be a nice guy. And I stepped toward the man saying, "If you want this, I won't have it bronzed." He gestured vaguely off toward his trash cans. I said, "I'll just throw this out in the trash over here then." And he raised a finger and announced in a tone that suggested that he genuinely believed he had somehow won something in this exchange, "I knew you spoke English. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it." I matched his tone and his inflection and his gesture and listed English words that should be Yiddish but aren't. Moisenhassel, Captionfelt, spatula, spatula, spatula. Threw out the refuse and went home. I put on a suit, I went to a meeting, I came home. Before I could change out of my go-to-meeting suit, my elder dog, Sir Corin the beautiful dog-faced dog, Brindlebeast of Silmar, told me that he would like a walk, so I put him on his leash and he took me to his favorite lawn. You must understand, the dogs looked nothing alike. Lord Buckley was mostly Labrador, not entirely Labrador. He inherited from some other breed a dislike for water or retrieving. So I called him a Labrador observer. Whereas Sir Corwin was a striking beast. His father was a 210-pound brindled Neapolitan Mastiff, and his mother was history's most satisfied pug. So the man saw a different dog on his lawn and came tearing out of the house, and I realized I was that same guy now wearing a suit and froze in his tracks, and I grinned at him as though we were old friends about to engage in our favorite game. I said, "That's my dog." And he said, "I'm beginning to think there may actually be something wrong with you." And walked out inside. So apparently that's the tack I should have taken to begin with. And then last year, 2017, in January of 2017, Lord Buckley died abruptly. My wife called me on my way home and said, "Get home as quickly as you can. I believe Buckley is dead." And I said, "What makes you think that?" And she said, he's not moving or breathing and he's stiff. And I said, "Yeah, that sounds like a good diagnosis." Now, I suffer from comedy Tourette's. The more emotionally engaged I am in any event, the faster I create jokes. Veterinarians are not accustomed to this. So from my car on the way home, I called the vet and I said, "Hi, it's Dylan Brody. Lord Buckley Sweetlips, greatest of all Danemachts, the dinosaur-slaying dog, has died in our upstairs hallway." And the woman said, "And you want to know how to dispose of the body?" And without thinking, I said, "No, I wanted to know if we can keep him around and play Weekend at Bernie's." And then there's a long pause, filled with no laughter. And I said, "Yeah, I want to know about the body." And he said, "Okay, well, you can bring him in. We're open till 11. For $100, we will cremate him and dispose of the remains. For $300, we will cremate him privately and return the remains to you." And I said, "So you're saying for an extra $200, I can buy a box of dirt?" And then there was a long pause, no laughter. And he said, "So the $100 option then?" And I said, "Yes." He was a big dog. I carried him down the stairs feeling like Cary Grant at the end of the movie with Ingrid Bergman, Notorious, when she's been poisoned by the Nazis. And my wife knows me well enough that as I came down the stairs, she looked up and she went, "Cary Grant, Notorious?" It was difficult to carry him. I put him in the back seat of the car. We drove to the vet's office. Like every other office in Los Angeles, the vet's office is in a strip mall. And I had to park in the spot available far away from the vet's office, and I didn't want to do the Ingrid Bergman thing. So I pulled him out by the paws and put him over my shoulders, risking the possibility that PETA members would throw blood on me for wearing a Labrador stole, and developed a newfound respect for Errol Flynn at the end of the Robin Hood movie when he comes in with the deer over his shoulders. This is not an easy way to carry an animal. But because of the way my mind works, by the time I reached the vet's office, I was in full-on swashbuckler mode, so I kicked open the door and laughed. And people with ailing cats looked at me in horror. As I unloaded Lord Buckley onto the counter, ka-thunk. And Comedy Tourette's said to the startled woman behind the counter, "I think it's broken, fix it." No laughter. And then, later in 2017, early autumn, I had to make the decision. We all reach that point where you got to make the decision. You know, they're old, and yet they still seem to enjoy going to the park, but then their hips hurt, and you don't know, and it's quality of life. And on the other hand, they're your parents. God, I love that joke. Sir Corwin was done. He made it very clear that he was done, and we put him to sleep. And a week later, I said to my wife, "It's time, we got to get a new dog." And she said, "I know." And we went to the Best Friends Animal Shelter, and we adopted Bear. His name was Bear. I knew immediately that it would get longer. By the time we got home, he was Little Bear Brody Esquire. By the next day, he was Ursa Minor, Hellhound of Love, Little Bear Brody Esquire. And a few days later, on a walk, he discovered the lawn. And as he was sniffing around for the appropriate place to relieve himself, the man who owns the house came tearing out and said, "What happened to your dogs?" And I said, "They're both gone. We got Little Bear Brody, Hellhound of Love, Pup of 1,000 Adjectives, Esquire." And Little Bear looked up at the man with his 7-month-old puppy eyes, and this man, from whom I had felt nothing but animosity, looked at that little face, folded his legs like a Native American visiting a kindergarten class, sat down on the lawn, extended his arms to my little puppy, and said, "This is my lawn." Thank you.